Hey. How's everybody doing here this evening? It is Friday Night Live here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Certainly glad you've tuned in wherever you may be listening from. We greatly appreciate it. And if you're listening from your car, hey, take that 5 seconds and make sure everybody else in your car is buckled up or you're any vehicle that you're in. Don't put that car in drive without putting the seatbelts on everybody in the vehicle. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. It's week 6 of high school football across the state of Missouri. We've got several finals coming in. We're working on getting some coaches on the air here as well. We do have a final just coming in from Hillcrest as Waynesville defeats Hillcrest 48-7. Elsewhere, it was St. Louis de Smet over SLU 42-13. That has gone final in the third quarter. I apologize. We got Coach Nick Bear from Seckman calling in right now. Let me see if I can get him on the line. And Coach Bear, how are you, sir?
I'm great.
Hey, how are you doing? Hey, you're live on the Missouri Scoreboard or the Missouri Sports Network here on Scoreboard on our Friday Night Live show. Hey, I tell you what, Coach, tell us a little bit about your game tonight. You got a big win.
Yeah, big win against Parkway South, 49-7. Just another opportunity for our guys to come out and do it again on a Friday night. Do what we do, run the football, play solid defense, and don't get old.
Coach, tell us about some of the standout performances tonight.
Common Gabar, in our running game again, 211 yards, a couple touchdowns. We ran for over 350 yards in the first half. Devin Gosser went up, caught another good ball in the end zone. He's got great body control. There's just a lot of things we could do. A lot of guys to get the football too this year. Cade Heinemeyer, he had a great night too. A couple counter plays for a touchdown. Just a lot of positives all around.
You guys moved to 6-0. You sit atop that Class 6 District 1. You guys come out of tonight relatively healthy?
Yeah, you're at that point of the season. I'm pretty sure every team's kind of feeling it. Guys are getting nicked up, banged up. We got 3 linebackers wearing clubs right now. Our starting outside tackle set wasn't playing this game. Lost a tight end last week to an ACL injury. Everybody's kind of got the same song and dance this type of year, and that's why you have a football program. It's why the number 2's rep. It's why we lift weights. And the guys that are stepping in, they're doing a great job. We're not missing a beat.
You guys are obviously able to put a lot of points on the board, averaging, nearly 40 points a game or more than 40 points a game after tonight's contest. What is it? What do you feel like right now you're doing really well as a team?
Well, honestly, for us, it's execution. Execution of what we do in our run game. It may look like run right, run left, but it's definitely more than that. And that execution, firing off the football, it's something that other teams have had a hard time matching so far.
You guys got you got Pattonville next week, and I don't see a final for them yet from tonight. But what do you know about Pattonville, or what are you going to have to do to come out on top in that contest?
Yeah, Pattonville, they're top of the Suburban Conference in that yellow pool. Last I heard, they were losing to Eureka, so I'm sure they'll come in 4-2. And I think this is one that everybody kind of had circled for us all year. When we're going to have that game, and we get to be home again next week. We know there's going to be a lot of buzz following that game, and we're definitely looking forward to it.
Coach, again, we're visiting with Nick Bear, head coach for Seckman, and coach the Jaguars now 6-0 on the season. Got Pattonville next week, and I certainly appreciate you being part of the show tonight. I know that was short notice. And we were right in the middle. We just had started. So great timing, and I'll let you get out and enjoy this one tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate you letting me know. Like a couple years ago, I was talking, and I didn't even know I was on the air. So I appreciate you letting me know. Thank you for making sure we have the show tonight. I love it. Love the coverage of Jefferson County football, and appreciate what you guys do.
Thanks, Coach. Have a great evening, and we'll talk to you soon.
You too.
head coach of Seckman Jaguars, Nick Bear, kind enough to call in. I just text him, and he just thought, well, I'm just going to call right now. So I greatly appreciate that. I always appreciate coaches being part of the show. We're working on a couple other coaches. I know we have Lutheran North head football coach Kyle Wagner coming up at 9:45. We'll get back to the scores here and see if we can get through the majority of them. Tonight, Platte County in the third quarter over Raytown 35-12. Cape Central 35-0 over Farmington. That game in the fourth quarter. Also in the fourth quarter, Webb City now 36-16 over Willard. Willard had a lead twice in this game, but down 36-16 now. Oak Park leads Lee Summit in the fourth quarter 29-27. Also in the fourth, it is Lindbergh on top of Rittenauer 28-21. Wellington Napoleon 48-12 over Lone Jack, that in the fourth quarter. Also in the fourth, Rockhurst trails St. Thomas Aquinas 38-30. And in the fourth quarter, St. James Thunder out of Lenexa, Kansas, leading St. Pius X out of Kansas City 34-17. Neosho and Branson in the fourth quarter all tied up at 34. East Newton on top of Monette in the fourth quarter, 26-21. Elsewhere in the fourth, Camdenton leads Bolivar 34-15. And that one's late in the fourth quarter there as well. Kirkwood on top of Marquette, 38-31 or 38-21 in the fourth quarter. Last report, Salem was on top of Willow Springs. That game, last report, was in the third quarter. Also in the fourth quarter, Republic leads Joplin 38-15. Kearney in the fourth quarter on top of Ruskin, 42-12. Caruthersville in the fourth quarter leads trails Dexter, 46-28. You're listening to Friday Night Live here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage, presented by Liuna Labor's Local 663, as they remind us, hey, drive safely in those work zones. Hey, those folks, they want to go home to their families as well. Liuna Labor's Local 663, building Missouri and building the Midwest. Pacific on top of Owensville, 41-24 in the fourth. Rockbridge on top of St. Mary's in the fourth, 28-14. Also in the fourth, Fredericktown leads DeSoto, 27-25. Also in the fourth, Sullivan on top of Herman, 35-28. Also in the fourth quarter, Mid-Buchanan trailing North Platte 30-20. Elsewhere in the fourth quarter, it's Thayer on top of Kabul, 28-12. Lee Summit North leads Raymore Peculiar 28-7 in the third quarter. Cole Camp trailing Crestridge 37-16. Seckman, they defeat Parkway South 42-7. Just talked with Coach Nick Bear about that contest. 353 yards rushing, I believe, is what he said. Warrenton in the third quarter leads Union 42-13. Helias on top of Capital City, 43-17 in the fourth. Also in the fourth, Festus leading North County 42-14. Milan in the third quarter on top of Gallatin, 34-7. Southern Boone in the fourth quarter leads Eldon, 55-19. In the fourth quarter, it's Lutheran North on top of Live for Life, 26-14. Also, Chillicothe, they in the fourth quarter, they lead Lafayette 65-32. Battle High School leads Smith Cotton 13-7. Avon on top of Houston 59-24. Rolla leading Parkview 68-28 in the fourth. Those are your scores updated as we have them currently. You can always send them into Scoreboard Guy, at Scoreboard Guy via Twitter. You can also send them to @Missouri_sports on Twitter as well. You can text them to me at 417-327-6914. And it has gone final here at Bolivar as Camdenton defeats Bolivar 34-15. That is a final. We'll take a quick timeout, come back, and we'll talk a little Lutheran North football with head coach Kyle Wagner.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job, so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, unlock your code to claim $500 Chevy Cybercash. Visit ChevyCybercash.com today.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We do banking better.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 290,000 participants here in Missouri who take part in high school sports or activities.
Welcome back to Friday Night Live, high school game day. That was earlier today. Had great visit with several coaches here from around the state. We're trying to see about getting that final score from Pleasant Hill and Oak Grove. That game late in that contest as well, and hopefully we'll be joined by Pleasant Hill head football coach Justin Hamilton. Updating kind of the scoreboard, I did mention that it has gone final at Bolivar, 34-15. Camdenton defeats Bolivar in that contest. See if we get some more finals here popping up. A lot of times they'll pop up on Twitter as well. St. Pius X, they do defeat Cuba 55-6. Bolivar score I've already mentioned. Final score, Webb City defeats Willard 43-16 in that contest. And final from Nixa. Nixa defeats Carl Junction 47-0. Final in overtime, Forsyth defeats Diamond 27-20. Also, Warsaw improves to 4-2 with a 37-8 victory over El Dorado Springs. They are now 3-0 in the Ozark Highlands Conference, and they will host Buffalo next Friday night. Have not seen a final from Buffalo at this time. Final score, Crest Ridge defeats Colcamp 50-16. And Odessa comes back and they defeat Warrensburg 42-41. West Strand, let's see, they get a victory, but I'm not sure who they were playing. So it's 38-7. If you know who West Strand was playing, shoot us a message here. Also, it's a final. Mexico hangs on and they defeat Fulton 28-27. Final score, Archie defeats Drexel 60-6. Final score, Rogersville over Hollister 27-0. Those are some final scores coming in there as well. We'll wait now to hear from Coach Kyle Wagner from Lutheran. West Strand defeated Scotland County, and that game has gone final. Hey, remember to tag us at Missouri Sports, at Missouri_sports, or at Scoreboard Guy on all your tweets and comments. Be sure to go back to our YouTube page and take a look at some of the athletes of the week and our sponsored by Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, as well as our Teams of the Week segment sponsored by Lyona Labor's Local 663. And as always, we're sponsored by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations in 6 states. They care as much about your money as you do. Great Southern Bank, member FDIC. We go back to St. Louis and back-to-back weekends, and the Lutheran North team, the Crusaders, get back-to-back big wins as they go over Lutheran South last week, and they defeat undefeated MICDS tonight. We welcome Coach Kyle Wagner in. Coach Wagner, hey, thanks for your time.
Yeah, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me tonight.
You bet, Coach. You got out early tonight on MICDS. Talk about tonight's contest.
Oh man, our offense actually started a little bit slow, man. We had a couple of drops on the first couple of drives. We drove the ball down, stalled out, and then finally our defense actually got us on the board with a fumble scooping score by junior Keon Gibson, and from there, Dakari finally threw his first touchdown pass after a long drive to Trey Bass. And from there, we were rolling. I think we went in a half 22-0. And you know, for me, our defense played tremendous in the first half. Our offense kind of played at about a C level. So, and then second half, we came out and the offense played at a high level and my defense played at about a C level. So, our guys, you know, while we're excited that we won the conference championship and, you know, that was a good football team that we just beat, you know, everybody left a little bit, not, you know, dissatisfied. So we're going to get back to work on Sunday and get ready for a good Maryville team.
Yeah, that game against Maryville, do you travel there or is that a neutral location?
So we'll be neutral playing at Chillicothe, Missouri.
Chillicothe, very nice. Coach,
yep.
You know, but with regards to tonight's game, you come out of it relatively healthy?
Yeah, we came out healthy. We actually held our starting running back out this week and last week, so he hasn't really played in a couple of weeks, and we hope to have him back next week, Martez Stevenson. So we've done a little running back by committee, and we got one of our talented freshmen, Jonathan Moore, back. He did a good job running the ball, catching the ball tonight. And Dakari Hollis continues to be, you know, what I believe to be the best quarterback in the state. Threw for 5 touchdowns tonight, 319 yards, and ran the ball well as well. So we'll be healthy and we'll be ready to go next week.
And now is that a Saturday game?
That's a Saturday game, 1 o'clock, Chillicothe High School.
And what do you know about Maryville? What are you gonna have to do to come out on top there?
Yeah. Well, number one, Matt Webb is a Hall of Fame coach. He's a heck of a football coach. You know, their quarterback Quinlan is incredible. We saw him last year where we had to pull out one, you know, on a walk-off block field goal that we took back to the house. And he was tremendous in that game. He was like Houdini. Made some great throws, got out of some trouble in the backfield. So we got our hands full, and they got, you know, 2 or 3 really, really good receivers. Then they're always strong in the trenches. You know, I think their program is built on, you know, the weight room, and so we try to pride ourselves on the same thing, and something's gonna have to give.
Outstanding, Coach. Well, how do you structure your practices? Does anything change now with you going on a Friday and then not playing till the following Saturday?
I mean, we just get an extra day of preparation. We really don't change much. We'll add in an extra day of a full practice. So hopefully we can use that to get a little bit better at tackling and catching the football, so we don't stall out in the first half on offense or stall out in the second half on defense.
Very good. Well, Coach Wagner, as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time, and you've been a tremendous friend here to the Missouri Sports Network, and I greatly appreciate you being part of the show.
Man, you guys do a heck of a job. Thank you guys for covering high school sports in Missouri.
You bet. Coach, have a great evening. Be safe.
You as well. Take care.
You bet. Lutheran North head football coach Kyle Wagner, back-to-back coaches tonight already. We're not even 20 minutes into the show, so I hope we fill the show up the rest of the night as well. We will be hearing from Nevada head football coach Wes Beechler at 10 o'clock And then at 10:15 from Liberty North, head football coach Andy Learman. We've also reached out to Lamar head football coach Jeff Beshore, and we've reached out to Marionville head football coach. And with Chillicothe, I think that once that game goes final, we'll send a note there and see if we can't get Chillicothe head football coach on as well. Going back to the scores as we refresh the scoreboard here, and we'll run through them again for those of you just tuning in. Hey, number one, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. This segment of our show brought to you by Bambino's. Bambino's Italian restaurant, 2 locations in Springfield. Bambino's at Lone Pine and East Battlefield. They host the quarterback club luncheons every Monday. Come by at noon and hear from coaches from around the area, Springfield area coaches, and then we've also got coaches from the likes of Marshfield and Fair Grove and Rogersville, Nixon, Ozark, Mount Vernon, Buffalo has been a part of it as well. But they're obviously the Springfield area with Glendale, Kickapoo, Hillcrest, Parkview Central, and Springfield Catholic. They're always a part of it. And we certainly appreciate you guys coming out, but we couldn't do it without Bambino's. Back in their meeting room, they've got, number one, they've got great food. It's $12, and it's a buffet style, pasta, meatballs, ravioli, salad, just some tremendous food there at Bambino's. Andy Fawcett really, really treats us well. So we'll run through the scores here as we await our next caller. Will be head coach from Nevada, and that will be Wes Beechler. And they're off to a tremendous start, ranked in the state in Class 4. And we'll look them up real quick here as we head out to the scores here on the scoreboard. If you've got a question or a comment, you can go to our chat line, chat overlay, and you can chat with us right here on Restream. But yes, Nevada has moved to 6-0 on the season with that 44-21 victory tonight over Cassville. Checking in on the other scores throughout the state. Final score, DeSmet beat Slough 42-13. In the fourth quarter, Platte County on top of Raytown 35-12. And a lot of these have gone final. We just haven't got them posted yet. It's Oak Park in the fourth quarter leads Lee Summit 43-35. Rockhurst and St. Thomas Aquinas have gone to overtime now, and in the first overtime, Rockhurst scores, so it's St. Thomas Aquinas ball. Rockhurst on top now 45-38 in the first overtime. In the fourth quarter, it's Rockbridge on top of St. Mary's 28-21. Cape Central, they lead Farmington 35-0. It's Fredericktown over DeSoto 27-25. Salem in the fourth quarter, they lead Willow Springs 42-12. Richmond in the fourth quarter on top of Carrollton 48-12. Also in the fourth, East Prairie and Malden tied up at 42. Quincy, Notre Dame leads Father Tolton 21-16. Elsewhere in the fourth, Sullivan on top of Herman 35-28. Also in the fourth quarter, 28-7, Lee Summit North on top of Raymore Peculiar. Also in the fourth, Festus leads North County 42-14. In the fourth quarter, it was Grain Valley on top of Belton 43-7. Chillicothe in the fourth, 71-38 on top of Lafayette St. Joe. In the fourth, it's St. Genevieve on top of Potosi 28-21. Colcamp trailing Crestridge in the fourth quarter 37-16. Warrenton on top of Union 42-13. Elsewhere in the fourth, it's Rolla on top of Parkview 60-28. And let's see here. Elsewhere in the fourth, Southern Boone leads Eldon 55-19. Osage in the fourth on top of Hallsville 17-0. Centralia in the fourth 39-14 on top of Clark County. Jeff City at last report was leading Hickman 41-13. Kickapoo 49-35 on top of West Plains in the fourth. South Shelby, it's gone final. South Shelby defeats Highland 69-6. Final score, Lamar defeats McDonald County 49-21. Elsewhere, final score, Blair Oaks defeats Seaman 63-28. Final score, Mountain View Liberty over Mount Grove 35-26. It was Sarcoxy, and Sarcoxy's 6-0 now, I believe. So Sarcoxy, they defeat Miller 47-34. Monroe City over Palmyra 36-34. West Strand defeats Scotland County 38-7. Smithville defeats Raytown South 28-12. Warsaw defeats El Dorado Springs 37-8. Camdenton over Bolivar 34-15. Branson in overtime defeats Neosho 41-34. Brookfield shuts out Macon 34-0. Nixa shuts out Carl Junction 47-0. Odessa defeats Warrensburg 42-41. Seneca over Reed Spring 54-21. Webb City defeats Willard 43-16. Thayer over Cabool 28-12. New Madrid County Central, they defeat Kennett 54-6. Mexico over Fulton 28-27. Lebanon defeats Glendale 44-21. Oak Park defeats Lee Summit 43-35. Elsewhere has gone final now. In overtime, Rockhurst hangs on. They defeat St. Thomas Aquinas 45-44. Elsewhere, final, St. James, the Thunder out of Lenexa, Kansas over St. Pius X. Kansas City 34-17. Maryville over Benton 42-8. Republic, it has gone final. They defeat Republic. They defeat Marquette 38-15. Kirkwood over Marquette. Kirkwood over Marquette 38-21. Carthage defeats Ozark 34-20. Marceline over Salisbury 66-30. California defeats Boonville 35-21. Forsyth, they defeat Diamond 27-20. Seckman 49, Parkway South 7. Marionville gets a win over Pierce City 31-3. Elsewhere, final score, it was Kearney over Ruskin 42-12. Savannah shuts out Cameron 34-0.
Stupid.
And we go now live here to Coach Wes Beechler from Nevada. Coach Beechler, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
Coach, big win tonight. You moved to 6-0. Tell us a little bit about tonight's contest at Cassville.
Well, anytime you go down to Cassville, you're going to face a really good football team that's well coached. And that was no different tonight. They played hard. They're a young team. They're going to be scary the next couple of years to face for sure. But they played a really good football game. And fortunately, we got some big turnovers on defense and was able to keep moving the ball on offense to get a win tonight in a tough atmosphere, and it's a really good football team.
Coach, talk a little bit about some of the men that stood out for you tonight for the Tigers.
Well, I think our linebacker play continues to be really solid. At Henry Campbell at inside linebacker and Tyler Longobardi outside linebacker both had really good games tonight. Our offensive line as a unit continues to play pretty well. It wasn't their best night tonight, but they stepped up and got it done when we needed to in some big situations. And then our running backs, and we have several running backs that carry the ball for us and do a good job. Des Robinson, I think, was pushing 100 yards tonight. Gabe Smith had quite a few. And then Jack Cheney had, a sixth consecutive game over 100 yards rushing and multiple touchdowns. So another big game from him. And then I thought our sophomore quarterback, Kellen Braden, had a really good game. He threw 2 picks last Friday night against Mount Vernon. And we made it a priority to get the ball in the air a few more times tonight. And no picks, had a touchdown pass, and completed right around 70% of his passes. So feel pretty good about the way he responded after a tough week last week as a sophomore.
Coach, a lot of times at this time of the year, you're almost 2/3 of the way through the season. What are you guys relatively healthy for it being this late in the season?
Yeah, we are. We try to rotate as many guys as we can. Of course, some years you can do that really well, and some years you can't do that so well. And this is one of those years where a lot of our young men are being asked to play extensively on both sides of the ball and even on some special teams. So we've been fortunate to have some depth in the running back positions, and we've had a few nicked up, but they're all back now, and we feel pretty good. Hopefully, we get an outside linebacker back next week that can add some depth to our linebacking core. But yeah, we're relatively good shape as for being week 6 of a long season.
You finish up with Lamar at home, at Monette, and Seneca. 3 pretty tough opponents here to end the season with.
Well, I think that it's just it's the nature of the beast kind of in the Big 8 conference. You're going to face really good teams each and every week, but that's a good thing. Down the stretch, if you want to get to a district championship game and have a chance to win that district championship game, you have to play some tough teams and some tough ball games and some high pressure situations. So I think our schedule with the likes of Mount Vernon, Matt County, Cassville, Lamar, Seneca, Monette, those Reed Spring, those kind of teams, it prepares us well for that stretch run, and has helped get us to a district championship the past 2 years. And we'd like to continue to climb past that and get through the districts this year, but we have to play some really good football in order to get that done.
And speaking of your district, you're that Class 4 District 7. Tell us a little bit about that. It's kind of some changes for you there in the district wise, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of all spread out. Lincoln College Prep and ourselves have been in that district for a long time together. Kansas City Center's out of it this year, and then we, Carl was in it last year, and they're in it again. Carl Junction, and then Grandview's in it, and Harrisonville. So it's some really tough teams, some good football. Grandview looks like they're the real deal. We haven't seen any film yet, but we know some guys up north that some of our coaches have coached with and played with in college. So they're telling us that Grandview's a really good football team, and we know that Harrisonville has a really good running back and a good offensive scheme to get him the ball. And I've been really impressed with the job that Carl Junction has done this year. They're in a tough conference, but they'll be a scary team down the stretch. Our work cut out for us, and Lincoln College Prep is always real athletic and well coached. So we'll have to just wait and see where the chips fall and see where we're at, and take it week by week.
And next week you got Lamar coming to your place. Everybody knows about Lamar. They've heard about him for a couple of decades now. But what are you gonna have to do to come out on top against the Tigers?
Well, on the year, I think now we're at right around 12 or 13 takeaways, only 2 turnovers, and both of those were last week. So we'll have to win that battle again. I think that's kind of coach speak or cliche, but it's true. We've done a really good job of taking care of the football and then creating turnovers on defense. So that would have to continue to go our way. I think against a team as good as Lamar and then Monette and Seneca, like you spoke about earlier, those are teams that you have to play really, really good football. You're never going to play mistake-free football. You're never going to play perfect football, but you have to play really good to get past a team like Lamar.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time. I know it's tough on a Friday night after a game, and but you've got a little bit of a drive ahead of you to get home. So I appreciate you reaching out to us.
Now, you're welcome. It does make a difference when you've got almost a 2-hour ride back. But appreciate all you guys do for high school sports in the area.
You bet, Coach. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
All right, thank you. You too.
Bye. Nevada football coach, Nevada Tiger football coach, Wes Beecher. They're off to a 6-0 start. You look at their scores. I mean, 56-0, 46-19, 47-19, 34-7. Last week they gave up the most points to a decent Mount Vernon team. They win 55-34 there, and then 44-21 tonight. But their district, and he talked about it being kind of stretched out. They've got Grandview, and I don't know what they did tonight, but Grandview was 4-1 coming into tonight. They're atop the district right now. Of course, they're probably playing up quite a bit and getting some bonus points, where Nevada, being one of the larger schools in the Big 8, they don't get a lot of those bonus points. Lincoln College Prep is in third at 4-1, then Harrisonville at 3-3, Carl Junction 1-5 now after their loss today or tonight to Nixa. Center 1-5, and Southeast Kansas City comes into tonight at 1-4. There are 7 teams in that district, so it'll be an interesting district. It'll be an interesting drive a little bit as well. But we'll also have a final here as Waynesville defeats Hillcrest 48-7. I'm not sure if I read that before, but I will get it in there now. Real quickly here, we're going to take a quick timeout. We're going to see if we can nail down some more coaches. We do have Andy Lehrman from Liberty North coming up here at 10:15, but we'll take a timeout, come back and read the scores after these messages from the Missouri Sports Network.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We do banking better.
The Walnut Street Inn is located in the heart of Springfield on historic Walnut Street, just blocks away from the Missouri State Campus, Hammonds Field, Great Southern Arena, and downtown Springfield. The Walnut Street Inn features newly remodeled rooms, breakfast served daily, and a friendly, accommodating staff. The Walnut Street Inn is also a great venue for private events. Book your stay or get more information at walnutstreetin.com or call 417-864-6346.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 290,000 participants here in Missouri who take part in high school sports or activities.
Welcome back to Friday Night Live here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Hey, make sure to visit our YouTube page and like us on Facebook at Missouri Sports Network. A lot of folks watching right now on the YouTube page. You can comment right here in our chat box. Here we've gotten some comments. Alan already chimed in, reminding me of the score from the Hillcrest Waynesville contest. If you have a score that we didn't read, hey, go ahead and hit us up on chat, and we will do what we can and get it out there. You can visit with us, and at some point, maybe we will have you all just call in. But that might be dangerous since I don't know who's calling. But anyway, we appreciate you tuning in. As always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Running through the scores once again here. We'll update them as they get updated, and we'll check out some of the Springfield area scores here real quick and see if they've got finals on those, and they do. It was Lamar over McDonald County, 49-21. Marionville defeats Pierce City, 31-3. Webb City over Willard, 43-16. Seneca defeats Reed Spring, 54-21. Lebanon over Glendale, 44-21. Nixa shuts out Carl Junction, 47-0. It was Ave over Houston, 59-31. Republic defeats Joplin, 38-35. We have reached out to Republic head coach Ryan Cornelson. Nevada over Cassville, 44-21. We just heard about that contest from Nevada head coach Wes Beechler. Mount Vernon shuts out Springfield Catholic, 40-0. Camdenton over Bolivar, 34-15. And Fairgrove, 49-14 over Stratford. Elsewhere, Carthage defeats Ozark, 34-20. Branson over Neosho, 41-34. Waynesville over Hillcrest, 48-7. I apologize. I'm getting messages coming in here. Okay, can't do that. So anyway, Rogersville shuts out Hollister 21-0. East Newton over Monette 26-7. And East Newton, they had a decent showing last week against a very good Lamar team. So you got to wonder about things maybe turning up there in the right direction here for the East Newton Patriots. Kickapoo over West Plains 49-35. Rolla defeats Parkview 67-42. St. Dominic over Central 43-6. Skyline defeats Clever 28-15. Forsyth over Diamond 27-20. Stockton hangs on and defeats Sherwood 26-22. Sarcoxy over Miller 47-34. Liberty, Mountain View Liberty over Mountain Grove 35-26. Salem shuts out Willow Springs 27-0. Thayer over Kabul 28-12. Warsaw defeats El Dorado Springs 37-8. Don't have a final yet from Buffalo at Butler. Crestridge over Colcamp 50-16. College Heights 72, Welch, Oklahoma 40. Lockwood over Liberal 69-8. And see if we can find a final for Appleton City and Osceola. Tomorrow's games, Ash Grove is at Harrisburg, or versus Harrisburg at Versailles, and Jasper is at Greenfield in the local area. Elsewhere, we'll run through what we have coming in on the scoreboard. Go to scoreboardguide.net, and we'll be updating those pages throughout that page throughout the evening on the scores from around the state. Some of these scores have not got posted at this time, so we'll check with our connection here with Misha, see if Misha's website is up and coaches have gotten those scores put in. Today's show brought to you by Doak Propane. Doak Propane in Bolivar, Missouri. For all your propane needs, see the folks at Doak. And we will go here to our scores we have at this time. Adrian over Midway, 48-0. It was Albany over Princeton, 72-26. Aurora defeats Marshfield, 35-0. St. Vincent over Bayless, 58-12. Maryville, 42-8 over Benton. Blair Oaks over Seaman, Kansas, 63-28. Liberty North shuts out Blue Springs, 40-0. Branson 41-34. And once again, I'm trying to okay, Thayer over Kabul, 28-12. My apologies there. Trying to text. I've got coaches texting, and I'm trying to check on all of that. California over Boonville, 35-21. Elsewhere, Cardinal Ritter defeats Borgia, 70-7. Nevada over Cassville, 44-21. Harrisonville over Center, 49-0. It was Cape Central, 35-0 over Farmington. Chaminade defeats Vianney, 23-20. Hazelwood East over Clayton, 21-0. Concordia defeats Northwest Hughesville, 27-22. Confluence Prep over Soldan, 48-0. Crystal City over Russellville, 42-8. Crestridge defeats Colcamp, 50-16. Archie over Drexel, 54-0. Warsaw defeats El Dorado Springs, 37-8. Poplar Bluff over Fox, 24-19. Green Valley defeats Belton, 43-7. Hannibal over Kirksville, 53-0. Waynesville defeats Hillcrest, 48-7. Hillsborough over Windsor, Imperial, 69-12. Holt over North Point, Holt over North Point 42-12. It was Ava over Houston 59-31. Jackson defeats Sykeston 56-0. Scott City over Kelly 63-6. Lafayette, as they get a win. And we welcome to the show now Liberty North head football coach Andy Lehrman. Coach Lehrman, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Guy, how are you, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, but a big shutout for you tonight. Coach, talk about tonight's contest and the defensive effort.
Yeah, we had a great win tonight. Obviously, super happy with how the defense played. They just continue to get better and better each and every week, and really excited about the maturity of that group. We've got some really talented, experienced kids, and then we got some guys that are playing for the first time this year as a starter. And I like to tell everybody, the learning curve is starting to kind of slow down a little bit, and we're really starting to kind of catch up and get everybody up to speed, and it's starting to show on the field.
Coach, what are some things that you feel right now? You're 2/3 of the way basically through the season. What are you doing really well right now?
I think we're just like the big word for me this week with the kids just been maturing. I mean, I think we're just a different team. Everybody looks at the success we've had the last couple of years and expect us to be kind of where we're at, I guess. But each year as a coach, you look at it, you got basically a new squad. It's a new team, and so just trying to find ways to continue to get these young guys to continue to play well and be able to compete at the level we want to compete at. I'm just real proud of how hard they're playing and how well they're playing together. And so I just think that is a definite recipe for success as we kind of head into the home stretch of the season.
As you're heading into the home stretch and trying to make another run at a state title, what are some things right now where you feel like you maybe need to shore up some things? I mean, we talked about things you're doing well, but what are some things maybe to make that deep run that you feel like you kind of got to shore up?
Yeah, we offensively, I think one of our biggest things is just kind of cleaning up our penalties. I haven't been overly happy with the amount of penalties we had on the offensive side of the ball the last few weeks. And then just defensively, it's tough to find one right now. Our guys have played really well the last couple of weeks, but like I said, the big thing is just continuing to mature and learn the defense, and then be able to stop the run is always the big thing that we're looking to do.
You come out tonight relatively healthy.
Yeah, tonight we came out healthy. We were able to only kind of played the guys really just a half. They came out in the second half and played a series, and then we got able to get some second string guys in, some JD. Excited that we were able to kind of come out healthy. We were a little bit banged up on the defensive line this last week, and so we really want to get a chance to get those guys back and going.
Now next week you're hosting Blue Springs South. What do you know about them, and what are you going to have to do there?
Well, I know they've had kind of a tough year so far. Coach Lump's second year there, and they had a kind of a fantastic season last year, the first year coming in, and I know they're still trying to change the culture over there and get in the winning track, and so just a little tough for them right now sledding. But I know they're competing hard. They scored 21 tonight against a good Lee Summit West team, and so they're going to throw the ball around the field everywhere. They're going to make us defend all 53 to third yards, and we're going to have to be on top of our game and ready to go. We're getting everybody's best shot, and our kids understand that. We just have to be prepared each and every week.
So how are you going to go about this week? How are you going to approach this week? And obviously you want to get healthy, but you've got a week to prepare. What does it look like for a high school coach at Liberty North? Are you guys coming in and icing kids down tomorrow and watching film? What does this next week look like?
Yeah, we'll do a little of that tomorrow. Our training room will be open in the morning. You guys will be able to come in and get with our trainers. We got an incredible training staff, and so we'll have to do a good job of getting everybody in here and kind of checking them out. And then we'll be breaking down the film. Guy, we don't treat anybody any different around here. We understand how important preparation is. We take a lot of pride in our preparation. So our week's going to be the same. We might lighten the load on a few guys that are banged up, but other than that, we expect our guys to be ready to roll. Our JV game's on Monday, and we'll have a heavy work day on Tuesday, and we'll shorten it up a little bit on Wednesday and make it shine on Thursday, and then Friday let it rip again. So it's a pretty standard thing, wash, rinse, repeat, if you will, around here. And so we found that's just kind of a recipe for success for us, and we do the best we can to take care of our kids, and then we just kind of go from there.
Well, Coach, hey, congratulations. That's 5 in a row for you. And you got Blue Springs South, Ray-Peck at home, and then you finish up at Lee Summit West, and we'll be paying attention. Hopefully we'll get to visit with you between now and then.
Okay. Thank you, Guy. Great to visit with you, buddy.
Hey, you too. Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Andy Lehrman there, the head football coach at Liberty North, and they've won 5 in a row. They defeated Liberty 31-7. You look at where they were a year ago. In that class, they were still in Class 6. They were district champions a year ago, and then they took on a CBC team back in November, in the state playoffs, and got beat 46-21. But on their way, they beat Blue Springs 37-7. They beat Blue Springs South 37-6. They beat Park Hill South 34-7. So he's looking at maybe getting one more step, one more rung on the ladder there for Andy Lehrman and the Liberty North Eagles. We'll go back to the scores here. We've got to refresh our scoreboard. We will be hearing from Republic Tiger head football coach Ryan Cornelison here in about 4 or 5 minutes here for Coach Cornelison to get on, and then Bill Boris from Fair Grove will be joining us. So we're kind of taking it around the state. We've had St. Louis on, we've had Kansas City on, we've had Nevada on, and we'll get a couple of little Springfield area schools on as well. Did get a note back from Coach B. Shore at Lamar that he will be unable to join us tonight. He's got some family obligations there. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and take a quick timeout as we prepare for Coach Ryan Cornelison from the Republic Tigers as they get a big win tonight. Back after this.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want and the capability you need to do the job, so you can get to the important work. Find new moments, find new roads. Get a $500 cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, unlock your code to claim $500 Chevy CyberCash. Visit ChevyCyberCash.com today.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We do banking better.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 290,000 participants here in Missouri who take part in high school sports or activities.
Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network. Guy Newcomb here, the scoreboard guy. I've been sitting in here. We're about an hour into the show. I greatly appreciate the coaches being a part of it. This has been a good night. We're just 6 weeks into this, this season. But I tell you, it's been a lot of fun. It's been challenging. As we're trying to text coaches and get coaches to call, and it's doing it from here. And now, speaking of that, we are joined now by the head coach for Republic Tigers, Ryan Cornelison. Coach, hey, thanks so much for being part of the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
Coach, a big win tonight over a very athletic Joplin Eagles team. Tell us about the game.
Yeah, we finally played a lot better. Offensively, we really won the time of possession battle, and that's big for what we do. We didn't turn it over like we did, the first couple of weeks, and so struggled putting the ball in the end zone first half, and then found a way second half to put it in the end zone more. Our defense stepped up and got, I don't know, 3 or 4 turnovers, I think 2 picks and a fumble, maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4. So, when you win the time of possession and your defense gets takeaways, you got a good chance of winning, and that's kind of how the game went.
What changes did you make at half? Did you find something on, maybe get something from up in the booth, or what led to the big second half?
Really, it wasn't. We didn't change much. We just, kind of identified what the plays were working, where we felt like we could control the line of scrimmage. And then first half, it was more just we did have some penalties. When you're playing, a team like Joplin, even a 5-yard penalty, man, puts you in a bind for what we do. So it was really kind of penalties that kept us out of the end zone first half. And so they got a big stop on the goal line, but we had a penalty that put us in a bad situation. So, there really wasn't a whole lot of adjustments other than just figuring out where we felt like we could, control the line of scrimmage and run plays behind that.
Who were some of the kids that kind of stepped up for you tonight?
Brady Lewis was a safety. This is his first year playing, and I think he had 2 of the picks. Now one was late when the game was kind of out of reach. The last one was about 20 seconds, but he had a big one early that kept him out of the end zone. And then offensively, our quarterback and fullback played really well. And we just kind of went to our option and dive and those kind of schemes, and those guys ran hard behind. I really felt like our offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage, and that was probably the biggest key.
Coach, did you come out of tonight's game? Are you guys relatively healthy? I know you're 2/3 of the way through the season, so there's going to be bumps and bruises. But outside of that, are you in pretty good shape?
It's hard to tell. Our quarterback got banged up there at the end, but it's hard to tell, just how bad. And so there's several there that were banged up at the end that we were shuffling in and out. But, we'll see what the weekend holds and what Sunday brings and see where we're at. So right now it's just too early to tell on some of them.
You're at Branson next week, who is much improved. As you look at, you took on a Willard team that's much improved. They were leading Webb City at 1 point or 2 points tonight. You got Branson, who's improved. What do you have to do there to come out on top and make that trip down to Branson?
Yeah, they're drastically improved, and we knew last year. It was going to the fourth quarter, and we were up by 6, and it was a war last year, and so they had all those guys coming back, and watching them on film. They've played several of the teams we played before. They're really good. I think for the first time there's not a whole lot of difference between a lot of teams. I think obviously Nix is kind of the front runner, but Willard, they gave us fits. Their defensive line is really good, and Branson is running the triple option really well, and they there was times if they didn't turn the ball over, I thought they were going to beat Joplin. I don't know that there's a whole lot of difference in the teams this year. So we're going to have to, regroup and put a game plan together and play another good game next week.
Playing in that COC and obviously got to help you as you go into the districts. You're in a district this year where you've got some COC teams, but you also have the likes of Lebanon, Glendale, Central. I believe Parkview's in that district too, in that Class 5 District 6. This conference play has really got to prepare you well for going into your districts.
Yeah, I think so. But you look at it, you got Lebanon sitting there who's obviously really good, and Glendale's extremely talented. I don't get to see any of those guys on film, just what I've seen score-wise, and then just the 2 you talked about, Willard and Branson, are in there, and those are probably the 2 most improved teams in our conference, and could beat you on any given night. So I think I think our district shapes up to be really tough, and I think some people thought maybe it was good for us to get in there and get out of, but looking at the scores and looking, I feel like it's a tough district, and we're going to have to be ready to play.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, again, congratulations on the big win tonight over a really good Joplin team, 38-15. Best of luck next week, and I certainly, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time. I know it's tough on a Friday night for a coach to take 4 or 5 minutes out and say, hey, I got to go, I got to make a phone call, but I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me. It's it's nice when somebody wants you to be on there, so that usually means you won, so that's a good thing.
All right, Coach. Hey, thanks so much, and hey, be safe tonight, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, I appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Ron Cornelison, head coach there for the Republic Tigers, and they get a win. That's a very good job. Joplin's 3-3 right now, but you talk about their 3 losses. I think it's Republic, Webb City and Nixa. Their 3 losses. That's 3 pretty quality teams right there. Republic's got an opportunity, I think, maybe to make a little run. Their district is tough. I mean, because you got 11 at the top of it, 11-6-0 right now, and I don't think they're going to lose the rest of the season. They've got Camden, so that's going to be tough. They finish up. Lebanon finishes up with West Plains at home, Camden at home, and then they're at Rolla. But that Camden-Lebanon game, you play that game, you can throw the records out, but and you don't have to this year because one of them was 5-1, one of them was 6-0. So you really don't have to even throw the records out there. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll come back and we'll run through. Actually, we'll run through them now. I think I may have just taken a timeout, so I won't do that again to you. You folks that are out there listening, hey, hit us up on our chat line. Come in and go to YouTube, wherever. And I notice we've got several people here watching on Restream. There's most of them, a lot of people watching on YouTube, a lot of people watching on Twitter. But you can go to our chat deal there and chat with us on. I can chat with us on Facebook or YouTube at Missouri Sports Network on Facebook, Missouri Sports Network channel on YouTube. Finals from tonight, and most things have gone final, even though maybe not all of them have been reported as finals. We'll go here to the scoreboard, and we'll update it, and we'll run through it real quick, and then we'll hear from Coach Bill Voris from the Fairgrove Eagles. Here's they get a big win in a rivalry matchup with Stratford tonight. Here are the scores that we have at this time. Adrian over Midway, 48-0. Albany defeats Princeton in 8-man football, 72-26. So Aurora over Marshfield, 35-0. And Aurora's 3-3 now. You look at that Aurora team. Their 3 losses. They started 0-3, but it was Seneca, Cassville, and Mount Vernon. They have since beaten Springfield Catholic, Hollister, and Marshfield. Now they're at Reach Springs and then at East Newton, and they finish up with Rogersville. But as you look at that Aurora district, they're in Class 3, District 6. Right now, that is Seneca atop that. Seneca at 6-0. Mount Vernon 5-1. But points-wise, they're just right on their tail, and Mount Vernon will not play Seneca this year. They will play Reed Spring, who's right behind them, and then Aurora sits in that 4th spot, followed by Cassville, East Newton, and Hollister in that district, Class 3, District 6. Elsewhere, Maryville defeats Benton 42-8, and they will take on Lutheran North next Saturday, and it's in Chillicothe, which is very interesting. Also, Blair Oaks defeats Seaman, Kansas 63-28. It was Liberty North shutting out Blue Springs 40-0. Blair Oaks, I'm sorry, I read that. Camden defeats Bolivar 34-15. We're an hour and 5 minutes into this, so you're going to have to cut me a little bit of slack here, folks. Branson over Neosho 41-34 was Bramer over Schuyler County 74-56. Bramer down 6-0, and they're an 8-man football, and they're top 10 ranked. Still don't have a Buffalo Butler final score. Let me see if I can refresh this, and maybe that'll help us. And it did not. They're over Kabul 28-12. It's California over Boonville 35-21. Savannah wins their matchup as well. Go back to the phone lines. We welcome in Fairgrove head football coach Bill Voris. Coach Voris, congratulations on a great win.
Yeah, hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's got to feel sweet anytime you're from Fairgrove and you match up with the likes of Stratford. It's one of the biggest rivalries. You guys are 15 miles apart?
Yeah, probably not even.
Tell us about tonight's contest.
It was a really physical football game. I thought our kids answered the bell really well. It's 21-0 at halftime. That third quarter then is going to be a big deal. Stratford came out, put a drive together, scored, so it's 21-7, and our kids answered right back. We ended up with a touchdown on offense, and then the ensuing kickoff, we caused a fumble on the kickoff and picked it up and scored 2 plays later. And then Stratford's next series of offense, they threw a pick to one of our D linemen, and he scored. So our kids battled. They didn't let the one hiccup, the drive they put together to start the second half, take away from their game plan, their focus. It was a really good night for our program.
Coach, what kind of motivation was the game from last year at Stratford? It was 45-18. Did you guys talk about that this week?
No, absolutely. It was, and to be honest with you, we did not practice well all week. It's homecoming. We have things like we have Powder Puff game after school. Like there were a ton of distractions, and so trying to keep our kids focused. I mean, we had a year basically this time last year, to make up 28 points. And challenging the kids, did we do enough in the offseason in the summer? Did we really make up 28 points worth? And I think their actions tonight, the way they played, showed they did. Our commitment, our change in the weight room. And we were getting up at 5 a.m. all summer long to come in and lift. We're doing stuff in the dark when everybody else is asleep. So it's nice for those kids to be rewarded for that kind of hard work.
Coach, as you come into this season, obviously you're playing really, really well right now at 6-0. What kind of motivation did you have? What were some of your goals coming into this season, team goals? Because you're right now you're playing as good on the defensive side of the ball as maybe anybody in the area.
Yeah, we had to make changes. Like my coaching staff has been the same here for a very long time, and a Class 2 school. I think that's a big deal. You don't usually have that, but we had Ryan Buffington was our defensive coordinator for a really long time and had some really good defensive units here. And because of his job as the elementary principal, assistant principal, he had to take on some more responsibilities down there. He wasn't able to continue in that role. He's still on our coaching staff. He's still a defensive coach for us. But we hired a guy named Paul Thomas. He was our tech director here. His dad is a 100-game winner in Missouri as a high school coach, and he's our defensive coordinator. And then we also brought up a guy named Mike Zanzi, who was a junior high coach for us last year, but was Buffalo's defensive coordinator for a very long time, the years when they were really good. So I got 3 defensive coordinators coaching our defense. And so it is. I would put our defense and our coaches up against anybody. It's a huge deal to know that we don't have to score every time we get it, because those guys are going to get a stop and get the ball back.
Coach, now you're at Buffalo next week, and Buffalo has been playing pretty well now. They're very young, but they're by the time you're playing, all those sophomores are going to be juniors. I mean, they're going to have 2/3 of their sophomore year in their back pocket. What do you know about the Bison?
I know that they're young. I know that their quarterback is extremely athletic. I know that Coach Phillips does a really good job. Those kids will be ready to play. We will not be able to just line up and outflank them. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to be ready to go. And that's another one of the games. We lost last year was to Buffalo, and we lost it in the last minute because those kids play hard and Coach Phillips gets those kids ready to go. So it's not going to be simply drive over to Buffalo and get off the bus and get the win. We're going to have to play well. And I know, like I said, that they'll be ready for us when we get there.
And right now, as you look at your district, and I don't know when coaches start paying attention to this stuff, but tonight's game was probably not only conference-wise, but it was also a huge step to secure that 1 seed in your district. How much was that talked about this week?
I mean, a lot. Like one of the things for our kids, that our senior group last year as juniors, a lot of them are first-year starters because when they were sophomores, we had a group of 23 seniors. And so this senior group's junior year, a lot of them had to play for the first time as juniors. And I think they recognized a little bit of lack of leadership last year. We weren't strong in that aspect of it. And so we got better as the year went on. But I think them stepping up and filling that void and making that a priority is a big deal. I mean, they have a goal. They had a dream of multiple championships this year. And we've been in that district championship game the last 8 years in a row. And so for them to say that out loud, I think all the other teams we've had kind of wanted that, but it's different with these kids right now. Like they were willing to say it out loud that we want to win multiple championships.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, did you come out of tonight's contest relatively healthy?
Yeah, I think we had one kid dinged up kind of at the end. I think he'll be okay. We've got this week, and we got some depth at his position a little bit, so we'll be able to take it slow with getting him back. But we're just tonight's homecoming, our kids in there. I've got daughters who are freshmen now, so I volunteered to chaperone the dance. So it's they're in there enjoying the win tonight.
All right. Well, Coach, Hey, greatly appreciate you being part of the show and generous with your time. And I look forward to continuing conversations here throughout the playoffs. And hey, who knows? Got an opportunity to make a run up to Columbia.
Yeah, we're gonna get back at it tomorrow morning and fix what we can fix. But yeah, that's at the front of our kids' minds. Hopefully it's something we can make happen.
All right, Coach. Well, hey, you get in there, chaperone that dance, and we will talk to you very soon.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet. Thanks, Coach. Coach Bill Voris, they're the head football coach at Fair Grove, and they've got an opportunity to make a run. When you look at their district, number one, they're in Class 2 District 4, okay, which puts them on the opposite side of the bracket as Lamar. And Lamar, obviously, is an outstanding team. Over the past decade and a half, really, Lamar's, I think they've been to 12 state title games, which is unbelievable. The run that they are on right now, they don't seem to have let up much here at all. But Fair Grove right now, they've with this win over Stratford tonight, they do have Forsyth, I believe, to end the season. Forsyth is in the 3 slot right now. Forsyth is 4-1 with their only loss they've already lost to Fair Grove. So Forsyth's only loss is to Fair Grove. So Forsyth and Stratford will play, and that will probably decide who the 2 seed is in that district. Then they're followed up by Houston, Liberty Mountain View, Springfield Catholic, and Willow Springs. So that's a 7-team district there, and the winner will not go west. They will go north. So anyway, congratulations to Coach Voris and the Fair Grove Eagles. Well, right now we're going to step away, take a quick timeout, come back, and maybe wrap it up here with a little bit of Alan Hilliard Sports. He was at the contest tonight with Waynesville and Kickapoo. So we'll be back after these messages from the Missouri Sports Network.
Welcome to the cottages at Fairhaven Cove. This resort spans 12 acres on a quiet cove on Table Rock Lake. You will feel right at home in one of the newly renovated cottages. Options include studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom units. These units have been beautifully redone from floor to ceiling and offer both comfort and style. Each cottage has a fully functional kitchen, deck, or balcony with incredible lake view and outdoor entertainment area complete with a grill. Whether a couple or a family, the perfect space awaits you. RV parking at Fairhaven Cove is now available to all guests as well. This is an ideal spot for a weekend getaway or family reunions. 4 full hookup RV parking sites are offered. Each site is complete with a picnic table, grill, Wi-Fi, and digital TV upon request. All guests have access to the numerous amenities that Fairhaven Cove offers. 2 boat docks are available for use. You can take a dip in the lake, fish, or house your boat. Cape Fear, Missouri is not only a great location for boating and water sports, but is also known as the bass capital of the world. The calm waters of the cove is the perfect place to have your next adventure. The resort offers kayak and paddleboard rentals to guests. Life vests are always included. There is a playground for kids to enjoy and hiking trails to explore. An in-ground pool is sure to make a splash with guests of all ages. And what better way to end the day than around a fire? A large fire pit is available for s'mores, fun, and memories. These amenities and more will be sure to entertain you and your family. The Cottages of Fairhaven is on the quiet side of the lake, near Cape Fear Marina and Flat Creek Restaurant. A short drive will take you to Silver Dollar City, Branson Landing, the show boat Branson Bell, abundant shopping, shows, museums, and some of the best golf in the Midwest. Reach out to your host today to book your next vacation.
Hey, welcome back to Friday Night Live here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Here in our last segment of the show, we bring in from Alan Hilliard Sports, Alan Hilliard. Alan, how's it going?
Going pretty good there. It was a pretty good ball game. It was Waynesville and Hillcrest, by the way.
Yeah, Waynesville and Hillcrest, and Waynesville gets their second win of the season, and Hillcrest really is just kind of reeling, aren't they?
They had their moments. The only real issue is just the numbers they had. Like, Waynesville started out strong. They scored on their first drive. Hillcrest wound up getting a touchdown to tie it up a little later in the first quarter, but second quarter, 3 different Tigers scored in the second, and in the third, 3 different Tigers scored, and they were led by Kelsey Jr., who had 3 touchdowns.
Did any of the other scores coming out tonight? And I know you're trying to do a game and don't get to see a lot. You may have been listening and heard some of the scores, but anything surprise you?
Not really too surprising. I thought the West Plains score might have been a little lopsided from West Plains down there.
Well,
but most of the scores were pretty kind of where I thought they would wind up being tonight, at least those wise.
Yeah, a little bit surprising that Fairgrove was able to handle Stratford as well as they were. I mean, that was, it was a game last year they lost by 28 points. Granted, Fairgrove had most of their players coming back, and Stratford lost a lot to graduation, but that was a little bit surprising. But Fairgrove is now kind of just taken over that conference. I don't see they finish up with Buffalo, who's not a member, and then they got Clever's, the only remaining conference game they've got. Clever's 0-6 on the season, but you look at that, and when you look at their district, and I was talking about it a little while ago, they're in that District 4, Class 2 District 4, so they're going to go north if they can win it. Lamar's not in their district this year. Lamar goes the other way, so they won't see Lamar until state championship if they both are fortunate enough to get there.
Yeah, that's a big break for them there. That gives them the opportunity to really kind of get over that hump that they have. Lamar is a pretty good mountain to go through, especially when they're in your playoff path to get, to that final goal of state championship.
So what have you got? What have you got next week?
The Waynesville and Bolivar. That'll be at Waynesville.
Waynesville at Bolivar at Waynesville. I was a little surprised that Bolivar kind of took it on the chin a little bit from Camden, but Camden, they get such good play from their quarterback with Durnan. Of course, his brother's playing wide receiver, but they're able to run the ball as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The Camden, they can run, and, they have the running backs, too, to keep the game going. And like you said, passing, they got several targets out there that they can go to.
All right, very good. I'm just glancing here at that Class 2 on that bottom side of that or top side of the bracket. That Class 2 District 4 where Fairgrove is, they would match up with that Carrollton district. You've got Father Tolton in there who's decent. Warsaw's not bad. And then that quarterfinal game, you're probably looking at maybe Valley Catholic, which is another kind of perennial state championship or state runner-up or state qualifier anyway there. So that'll be a lot of fun, and we're getting closer to, we're 2/3 of the way through the regular season and kind of wrapping things up. And as you look at, Class 1 schools around the state, Marionville has been dominant all year. They've been the number one team in the state all year. I don't know that anybody really is going to make a run at them until perhaps that quarterfinal, because there are just 4 districts in Class 1. So you just have to win a quarterfinal game and you're in the semifinals.
Yeah, the way they've restructured some of the districts, they've kind of increased Class 6 and spread out the other teams. And, just because the rules where you can't double up on your enrollment. And that helps, Class 1, because instead of them playing a school of 200 kids, they're only playing a school of maybe 100 kids or 80 kids, whatever the break is right there.
And I misspoke. There is no quarterfinal game. You win your district and you're in the semifinals, which is what it used to be like with Class 6.
Well, that's a very positive difference there for that. Used to be 8-man, I believe, was set up that way, but 8-man's had a big growth in the smaller schools the last couple of years.
Yeah, and is it Archie and everybody else in 8-man football? I mean, they've just been dominant all year. I know Bramer's undefeated. They're putting up big numbers, but you know, I look around the 8-man scoreboard, and it's, you know, Archie has just been dominant all season long.
Yeah, 8-man. I've watched some game videos of those, and you know, done other levels of 8-man football. It's an exciting football to watch. I compare it to like watching basketball, but on a football field almost.
Yeah. Well, you've got Bramer right now, who is at 6-0. You've got Archie at 6-0. Concordia is 6-0. South Holt is 6-0. I believe that's it for as far as 6-0 teams, but you got a lot of 5-1s, but you got several 6-0 teams there in that 8-man division. But anyhow, well, listen, Alan, we will let you go. We're going to run through the scores one more time, and we will jump off here. But appreciate you being part of the show.
All right, I appreciate it. I'll give you a chat next week.
All right. Alan Hilliard. Alan Hilliard from Alan Hilliard Sports live on Friday Night Live here on the Missouri Sports Network. We'll run through the scores right now before we get out of here. It's 10:53 here on Friday night, week 6 of high school football, and you're listening to it right here on Friday Night Live. We appreciate all the coaches being a part of it. We continue to try and add coaches to it. Hey, folks don't want to hear from me. They want to hear the scores, and they want to hear the coaches. And, you know, that's kind of my mantra. It's always been that way since I was with ESPN, is get as many coaches on as you can and get through all the scores you can. Except when I was with ESPN, I was doing it from my pickup, so that made it a little bit more challenging to try and do the show. But anyway, here we are, presented by the Bank of Billings. Bank of Billings, established in 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. And Iona Labor's Local 663, building Missouri and building the Midwest. Iona. Let's see here. Liberty North over Blue Springs, 40-0. Well, we're going to change one thing here. It was Chaminade over Vianney, 23-20. DeSmet defeats SLU. Sorry, I'll get it right. My apologies. Let's start over. I was reading Class 6 stuff. Okay, it was Adrian, 48-0 over Midway. Albany defeats Princeton, 72-26. It was Aurora shutting out Marshfield, 35-0. St. Vincent over Bayless, 58-12. Maryville shuts out. Oh no, they don't. They defeat Benton, 42-8. Blair Oaks over Seaman, Kansas, 63-28. Liberty North defeats Blue Springs, 40-0. It was Camdenton over Bolivar, 34-15. Branson defeats Neosho, 41-34. Bramer over Schuyler County, 74-56. Thayer defeats Kabul, 28-12. California over Boonville, 35-0. Savannah goes to 5-1 as they defeat Cameron, 34-0. Cardinal Ritter now 6-0. They defeat St. Francis Borgia, 70-7. Richmond, they knock off Carrollton, 48-12. Nevada also going to 6-0. They defeat Cassville, 44-21. Harrisonville, 49-0 over Center. It was Cape Central shutting out Farmington, 35-0. Centralia, they are also 6-0. And they defeat Clark County, 39-14. Chaminade over Vianney, 23-20. Charleston defeats Hayti, 46-26. Hazelwood East, 21-0 over Clayton. Clinton defeats Versailles, 21-15. It was Concordia over Northwest Hughesville, 27-22. Confluence Prep, 48-0 over Soldan. Crestridge over Chilhowie. I'm sorry, Crestridge with Chilhowie over Colcamp 50-16. Crystal City defeats Russellville 42-8. DeSmet over Slough 42-13. Archie shuts out Drexel 54-0. Duquesne 19-8 over Jennings. Was Warsaw 37-8 over El Dorado Springs. Poplar Bluff defeats Fox 24-19. Grain Valley over Belton 43-7. Hannibal defeats or shuts out Kirksville. Hannibal now 5-1. Elias Catholic 5-1 as well. They defeat Capital City 43-17. Waynesville over Hillcrest 48-7. Hillsboro defeats Windsor 69-12. Holt over North Point 42-12. Ava defeats Houston 59-31. Jackson shuts out Sykeston 56-0. Jefferson City over Hickman 63-19. Kearney 42-12 over Ruskin. Scott City defeats Kelly 63-6. Lafayette County, they're 6-0 and they defeat Holden 39-14. Penny 14-0 over Lathrop. Lee Summit North also 6-0, 35-14 over Ray-Pec. Lee Summit West also 6-0, 41-28 over Blue Springs South. Lincoln College Prep defeats Highland Park, Kansas 57-6. Lindbergh over Rittenhour 28-21. Logan Rogersville defeats Hollister 27-0. East Prairie over Malden 50-42. Marceline over Salisbury 66-30. It was Moberly over Marshall 36-14. North Platte defeats Mid-Buchanan 30-26. Mount City over DeKalb 48-22. Liberty Mountain View 35. Mountain Grove 26. King City defeats North Andrew 50-14. Festus defeats North County 42-14. Oakville over Northwest Cedar Hill 48-7. Pleasant Hill defeats Oak Grove 61-44. And Pleasant Hill now 6-0 on the season. Monroe City over Palmyra 36-34. Parkway Central defeats McClure North 45-6. Portageville over Chaffee 74-13. Potosi defeats St. Genevieve 29-28. Was Platte County over Raytown 35-12. Smithville goes to 5-1. They defeat Raytown South 28-12. Republic also 5-1 defeats Joplin 38-15. Rockbridge over St. Mary Southside 28-12. Sarcoxy 6-0. They defeat Miller 47-34. Seneca 6-0 over Reed Spring 54-21. Skyline, they defeat Clever 28-15. North Shelby over Slater 64-24. Columbia Battle 20. Smith Cotton 14. Bowling Green improves to 6-0 as they defeat South Callaway 59-7. South Holt 77 over 77-22 over South Nottoway. St. Clair defeats St. James 41-6. St. Dominic over Springfield Central 43-6. St. Dominic now 6-0. St. Joe Christian 78-70 over Pattonsburg. St. Paul Lutheran 67-6 over Santa Fe. It was St. Pius X 55-6 over Cuba. Liberty defeats Staley 21-6. Stockton defeats Sheldon 26-22. Herman defeats Sullivan 36-35. Trenton over Polo 30-22. Tarkio defeats Stewartsville 52-0. St. Michael the Archangel 28-24 over Van Horn. Washington defeats Fort Zumwalt East 34-21. Webster Groves over Melville 35-6. College Heights Christian defeats Welch, Oklahoma 72-40. St. Charles over Winfield 28-9. William Chrisman over Winnetonka 18-14. And Worth County defeats Stanberry 70-0. It's 11 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? Now, hey, I appreciate everybody tuning in. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe. be smart, and be here tomorrow. Good night.